What is going on, guys? Welcome to the first video in learning Laravel for absolute beginners. My name is QD Yazdani, and you guys watching my channel Korayawood. This course is for those who has no Laravel experience. We're gonna go step by step and explain what is Laravel framework, what is web artisan, and we're gonna go towards the framework, and we're gonna explain all the PHP, what's a PHP ecosystems, say for example Forge, Vapor, and we're gonna go one by one and explain to you guys all the aspects of the Laravel, about the folders and who invented Laravel, why Laravel is there, and how you guys gonna get a job for Laravel as a Laravel developer. As first thing first, Laravel is a PHP framework. So PHP, as you guys know, is a preprocessor. And I have another video course for basic PHP. If you guys don't know anything about the PHP, you guys can go and watch that video till you guys get say if you know functions in PHP, or if you know say classes in PHP, or if you know, you don't need to know all the classes in PHP. If you know basic classes, say for example, as long as you guys know what is class in PHP, that should be enough. Say for example, if we go here, well, I'm gonna put it here. Say if you understand the class and it's called a cryo social and it says hello, if you understand all this, it means you guys are okay. And if you understand, you don't need to say instantiation. This is instantiation behind the scene, and that's how we print the cryo, and that's how we create our object, and that's how we're going to access our objects, say here. But the Laravel frameworks built on the classes, so, and classes have a properties, and the classes have a methods. All right, so this if you guys want to watch this, you guys can go and see the PHP object-oriented programming that we are running at the Cryowood. So you can go and watch my another videos about the PHP object-oriented programming. And if you guys don't know, understand, makes a little bit hard for you to understand, if this doesn't make any sense to you, then if you can go and watch my another videos about the basic PHP. So if you guys like go to understand this, say eco, if you understand the eco, then you guys all good to go. So that's a basic PHP. You don't need to know all the functions. As long as you guys know the eco, how to start the PHP, then all these statements and all these conditional operators and all these numerics and strings, things like that, you guys are okay. But if you guys don't understand, as I said, if you guys don't understand this class, if it doesn't make sense to you, then you can go and watch my another videos about the PHP, just a basic PHP to get you started. So you can watch that one all the way till we can come in how you guys gonna handle the form, and how you guys gonna authenticate, and how you guys gonna register, till you guys gonna come then can watch this say object-oriented programming that I'm running on Korayawood. So you can watch this, but if you watch this and you all know about the functions and about classes and things like that, then this Laravel. And if you don't know anything about the Laravel, then don't worry, we're gonna go step by step. Once we know what Laravel is, how we build our applications, and we're gonna go on the building our e-commerce applications. So Laravel, as I said, is first thing first is a PHP framework. And if you guys want to know, come here and says laravel.com. That's a website for the Laravel, and there's thousands and thousands of developers visit this website daily. Laravel is a web application framework with the expressive, elegant syntax. We've already laid the foundation, freeing you to create without sweating the small things. So why framework? For example, why? As used to be old times at the 1993-95, when the www first came in, and everyone starts then 1997 when the PHP came in. So there was a PHP was weak, so it means that you guys had to go there and do that everything manually. Then came in 2000 2005, and the PHP, a lot of developers came in and start contributing PHP 1 2 3 all the way to PHP 5 5.5 came in, and then the code igniter came in. CodeIgniter was is another framework. That's the first framework came in, and Mr. Taylor Otwell, he's the creator of the Laravel. He used to work here at the CodeIgniter. So CodeIgniter is exactly the same like a Laravel. So it says that the CodeIgniter is a powerful PHP framework with a very small footprint, built for developers who needs a simple and elegant toolkit to create full-featured web application. And if you look in here, that's a GitHub. And there's a fork, and if you don't understand the fork, then we're going to explain to you all in the future videos. So this is a CodeIgniter. This is another PHP framework that's already available on GitHub. What is GitHub? GitHub is like a Facebook for the programmers. All the programmers build their applications here. Say for example, if you want to make an open source application and make your code available to every programmer in the world, you guys need to go here on the GitHub. Say for example, Laravel's on GitHub. That's where the Laravel lives. Don't confuse this one with this framework, because that's where the Laravel website is. And in this website, you guys looking here all the nice things about the Laravel, what Laravel is, and things like that. But when you come to GitHub, that's where the code resides. And why we need a GitHub? If you have a lot of developers, as you look in here, that's 608 contributors. It means there is a 608 programmers working on this project. And why on GitHub? Because say one programmer lives in Arizona, and another lives in somewhere Belgium. Say this guy lives in Belgium, and this guy lives in Arizona, and say this guy lives in United Kingdom. So how these guys contribute to this Laravel through, and I tell you how, is because of this GitHub. The GitHub is same, all of these programmers, they contributed 690 contributors working on the Laravel framework, and all of them contribute bit by bit. They test the code, they see where the code's getting a problem, and they fix up the code, they fix up the bug, they fix up all these folders. So that's the folders of the Laravel, which we're going to discuss in the future videos. And for now, that you guys need to know that Laravel is open source. When we say open source, it means that the code is available for everyone to view. Same like Android, same like Linux, same like all these open source softwares, and it has a license. It means the license allows you to, say for example, can copy, can modify, can anything to do with the code. So the Laravel uses PHP 81.4%, it uses Blade 17.3%, and others 1.3%. So if you can see here, it's a PHP framework, and it's 81.4% of the PHP. Okay, is if you want to know more about Laravel, you can see the Laravel bootcamp and documentation here, and you can see all the partners, and you can see that's all the partners which are working with the Laravels, contributing to Laravels. As I said to you guys, GitHub is the world's very famous open source platform that all the programmers come in and they start a project. Say for example, Taylor Otwell, he's the creator of the Laravel. He came and started this project. As I said, he used to work here, this guy with this guy here, but he was not happy the way CodeIgniter implement the security. So he wasn't happy, and he created his own. So he had created a Laravel, and Laravel turns out to be very popular because it addresses all the core issues of the security and privacy. And Laravel is very high strength, and as you can see here, a lot of big websites uses Laravel. Say for example, St. Jude Children's, and you can see the Warner Bros, you can see the Twitch, and you guys see here they are multi-billion-dollar company. Twitch belongs to Amazon, and you can see the New York Times, About You, Disney, and World Wrestling Federation. So as you can see, each of these companies are like billion-dollar company. Say for example, Amazon uses Twitch, and they are a trillion-dollar company. Say Warner Bros is the same, and we can go to bankrupt, and all of them are multi-million billion-dollar companies, massive companies that uses Laravel. And you can see here all these libraries here inside the Laravel, and all of them is like making Laravel invincible, making Laravel's like a huge. So it says that our vast library of meticulously maintained packages means you're ready for anything. Let Laravel Octane supercharge your application's performance and experience infinite scale at the Laravel Vapor, our serverless deployment platform powered by AWS Lambda. And what is AWS Lambda is Amazon Web Services Lambda. And you guys don't worry about Lambda, and I'm gonna, as I said, I'm gonna explain to you in the future videos. And it says here that it's loved by thousands of developers around the world. And you can see these ones, all of them are Laravel developers, and that's the creators of all of them are some sort of creators for Livewire. And you can see here all of them are like having creators of the massive websites. So Laravel's is rocks. Laravel rules the world at the moment. Laravel's very famous framework. And just let you know that I'm also the developer of the CodeIgniter, which in the futures I'm gonna making videos for the CodeIgniter and also for the E framework. So they all belongs to the PHP frameworks, because they also, all of them, the CodeIgniter and the Laravel and the E framework, they all use PHP. So, and all of them belongs to the MVC. If you look in here in our there's a triangle here, we have a controller, we have a model, and we have a view. So that's the user is going to interact with this one. So when you see here, the whole thing is going to be the view. Say we're looking at the Laravel, this is a view. This is where everything happens inside, in front of the user. This is where the user clicks. Okay, so what about the controller, and what about the model? Okay, so the controller controls the view. So the view users out input, and the controller hand, this one goes to the controller, and control modifies the model, and the model updates the view. Say for example, if the user comes in and log in through the view, it goes to the controller, and control modifies this one. It says, hey, there is a user there, and it wants this one, wants to register, and the model says, all right, that's a user's here, and I'm going to register the user, and it updates the view. So the view which is here, it gets updated. Say for example, if we're going to come here, and for example we're going to log in to any of these websites. Say for example, we're going to come here, download. Say if you want to go, say, and log in, that means that when you register, click the login, it's updated by the model, because the model holds the database, and when you guys enter your username, it goes to the database. But this area is controlled by the controller. So the controller controls this login, because that's how the view renders this one. So when you guys come and register yourself, say when you guys register, login with GitHub, whatever you guys log in, you guys go use model, because the model handles all the database, and at the same time model updates this one. Because how would you log in if the website is not remembering you? So the website have some sort of mechanism, model view controller, because here as soon as you guys going to put your username and password, the controller quickly comes into action, and tells the model that the user here, and what the user wants. Then the controller takes all the data, gives it to the model, and model sees that, okay, this data, entered data, is matched in my database, and quickly comes in, updates the view, and the view gives you guys, let you guys go in website. So this view is nothing, just a rendering, just a face of the MVC. What happens behind the scene is a controller and the model. So the controller controls everything, controls the view. You cannot create a view without controller knowledge. The controller needs to know and authorizes for the view, and controller at the same time controls the model, because whatever happens inside the controller, it modifies the model, because your model is that where your handles the database, all the database of your users. So that's where the database of the users, and whenever the user comes in register, it goes in the model, and next time the user comes in try to log in, it matches the database and updates the view. And then every time the user comes in, as I said, to try to log in, it gives the input, then it goes to controllers quickly sees that it belongs to who, it belongs to the model, and it modifies that, sends it to the model. So that's how the model view controller works, and this is the the basic concepts of the Laravel. The power of the Laravel resides in the MVC, and the power of the code igniter also resides in the MVC, and the power of Ye framework also resides in the MVC. Laravel and the Ye framework, they all use the MVC, but the Ye is more towards object-oriented programming, say for example. But there are few differences between the Ye and the Laravel, but both of the frameworks can create a huge databases. You can create a massive enterprise scale website, very high strength website. Both of them is going to be very secure, and both of them use a PHP framework. They're both framework of the PHP. So, but this video is about the Laravel, it's not about the Ye framework. And as I said, once we finish the Laravel, then we're going to start PHP Ye. And if you look in here, the Ye has lots of books written. So there's gotta be the Ye 2, it's gotta be Ye 2 application development cookbook. But don't worry about this. I'm gonna make a whole series about the Ye, and you guys gonna be expert in Laravel, and you guys gonna be expert in code igniter, and you guys gonna be expert in Ye in no time. All right, so that's what I said. The Laravel comes in with the concept of the MVC, which is the M stands for the model, V stands for the view, C stands for the controller. That's what it's called, MVC. All right, and this guy here, Taylor Otwell, he says that the Laravel is the strongest contender in the PHP ecosystems simply because it includes the features needed to build modern web applications. And the Taylor Otwell is the creators of the Laravel, and creators of the Forge, and creator of the Envoyer. So this guy here, this is the guy who is the creator of this awesome framework, which is, we call this PHP MVC framework, which is called Laravel. And there's like thousands and thousands of developers working on these projects, and to give you guys the best experience, the best job opportunity. For example, if you learn Laravel, you guys have a lot of opportunities. You guys going to create a lot of opportunities for yourself to get a job, or to create your own your own frameworks in for e-commerce. You can make framework like a YouTube, you can make framework like a Facebook, Twitter, whatever. You can do that because Laravel is a powerful. So this is the introduction of the Laravel, and as I said, the Laravel is created by Taylor Otwell, and Laravel resides in here inside the GitHub. GitHub is for all the programmers around the world. You can see there is a like a KitKat symbol here, and as I said, there is all these developers around the world are working freely for the Laravel because it's open source, and all of them sitting or like in continents, like some of them living in Europe, some of them in America, some of them in UK, some of them in Australia, Germany, China, wherever. You guys going to see all the 608 contributors live somewhere around the world, and all of them, they contribute through this GitHub, because they open the GitHub, they have account, they have access to this framework, and they can contribute some sort of changes, and they make sure that they put in documentation, so other developers, they see who done what. So when the contributor, say Taylor Otwell, comes in and he contributes something in Laravel, all the other developers, they notice, because this is the guy, the reason you guys are going to see his picture first, because he's the creator of the Laravel. Say for example, if it's got a lot of bugs, for example, fix this one, fix that one, it's got to fix this one, and they're all developers communicate with each other through these messages, and also they have some other page for the bug. So they're going to look at the bugs where it has a bug, and they're going to fix up the bug. That's what GitHub, the platform, provides. Say for example, here it has a security vulnerability. If you discover a security vulnerability within Laravel, please send email to Taylor Otwell via this one. Say for example, if you guys using e-commerce website, and your e-commerce website are giving you bugs somewhere, and these bugs are not very good for the framework, and the framework leaks data to the hackers, so you guys quickly notify Mr. Taylor Otwell here at Laravel, because he's the creator, to let him know that look, there is a bug somewhere inside your framework, to please make sure you fix it. And Terror Outwell quickly comes in, notifies all these developers that there is a bug, and they all gonna come in together to understand the vulnerability, and they're gonna fix up the problem. That's what the power of the open source is. That's what all when you see open source like a Linux, like Android, they're all open source, and they're all powerful because they have a lot of contributors. And as soon as some contributors find some sort of bug, quickly all of them is going to fix up. That's what makes the open source community at GitHub, the open source software, is so powerful. Say for example, this ones have an MIT license, and if you guys read about the MIT license, it's an open source and it's licensed MIT. It means you guys can use it with no problem. You guys can make your app, you guys can resell your app, you guys can modify the app, you guys can modify the source code, you guys can do anything with the code. It's a free for you. It's open source. It means it's a free. You guys can view the code, you guys can modify, you guys can do anything. So if you want to read about the MIT license, you guys can go in the MIT license. And as I said, open source nowadays rocks around the world. Open source is very powerful. Say for example, Windows is all closed source. The reason Windows, everybody hacks Windows. I'm using Windows now as I'm speaking, and I'm sorry to say, Windows Edge have a lot of bugs because it's a closed source. It has only a small number of programmers have access to, say for example, Windows Edge. Windows Edge can come in compare to the Firefox, for example, or Chrome, because Firefox is open source. Why is open source and it has thousands of developers like Laravel comes and contribute and makes the Firefox secure. But when it comes to Windows Edge, because it has just a few number of say developers, maybe a few thousand or maybe more than that, but they are inside a closed building. So if they think it's okay, it doesn't mean that it's okay. It goes there in the open public, and a lot of hackers, they find say bugs, and they quietly comes in and starts infecting all this Windows operating system. But when it comes to open source things like the Firefox, it has thousands of developers, and as soon as they find some sort of say bug, and they quickly fix up the bug. And keep in mind, these developers going to be in all continents of the world. You don't have to be all the developers not in America or not in Europe or not in Australia, but it's everywhere around the world. As long as if you are expert in PHP, or if you're expert in the specific programming language, say if you're expert in, if you think that you're number one in PHP, that you know a lot, then you can become a contributor, or you can become a developer for Laravel. And you can submit your photo here. You can create an account here with the Laravel. You can sign up, and you can start contributing, and your name is going to come here. But because we're all learning Laravel at the moment, we need to learn first to become experts. So Prefect, as I said, now it's the version 9 of Laravel, and if you look on here, they're all the versions. So if you want to know, the default version is version 9. And if you guys going to look in here, version 5, 5.1, 5.2, and you guys going to look all the way to 5.8, 6, 7, and all the way to 8 and 9. So as we speak, it's a Laravel 9, the version. As the recording of this video, we have a Laravel 9 here. So we're going to learn the Laravel 9. And as you can see that it's got different folders here, and we're going to go one by one in all of these folders. Why there is a folder? When you're learning any programming language, it has to make sense for you. Everything, whatever you can see, you cannot ignore anything. Okay, so and at Korayawood, I'll make sure that I explain to you guys everything that is necessary to learn Laravel. So this is the introduction of the Laravel. In the next video, we're gonna see how we're gonna install the Laravel, so in the Windows system. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. If you guys have any question or comment, leave in the comment box. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye.